Did you know that 10% of Americans, 3% of people in the UK, and 7% in Brazil genuinely believe in the flat Earth theory? They think Antarctica is surrounded by towering ice mountains, and if you cross them, you'll simply fall off the edge of the Earth. Sounds wild, right? And what about the sun and the moon? How do they fit into this flat Earth idea? And how do we experience day and night? What do religious texts like the Bible and the Quran have to say about this? Hello, friends. On September 28, 2002, a 46-year-old American named Mike Hughes made headlines for breaking a peculiar world record. As a limousine driver, he attempted a daring stunt, a 130-foot jump in his limousine, which earned him the title for the longest limousine ramp jump. But Mike's adventures didn't stop there. 12 years later, in 2014, he took to the skies in a rocket he built in his garage, soaring up to 13,000 feet. Although he crashed and sustained injuries, he remained undeterred. In 2016, he announced an ambitious plan to push beyond the limits of our atmosphere and venture into outer space. He envisioned launching rockets from a staggering height of 32 kilometers using balloons. In America, he became known as Mad Mike, a fitting title for someone attempting such daredevil feats. To fund his next endeavor, Mad Mike turned to crowdfunding, hoping to raise over $100,000 through a Kickstarter campaign. Unfortunately, interest in his project was lukewarm at best, and he only managed to gather a mere $310 from 2 supporters. But then, he made a statement that suddenly garnered thousands in donations. He claimed he didn't believe in science, only what he could see with his own eyes. He stated that his ultimate goal was to reach space and determine once and for all if the Earth is truly a sphere. This declaration resonated with the flat Earth community, as Mike openly embraced the idea that the Earth is flat. It raises an unsettling question. How can there be so many people who genuinely believe the Earth isn't a sphere? Sadly, the answer is yes. According to a survey from 2021, about 10% of the American population believes the Earth is flat. Interestingly, younger generations, Gen Z and millennials, exhibit even higher rates of belief in this theory. But this phenomenon isn't limited to the US. In the UK, about 3% of people share this belief, while 7% in Brazil and 8% in Bulgaria do as well. In fact, a geology PhD student in Tunisia once attempted to submit a thesis arguing for a flat Earth. What's alarming is that many of these believers are educated individuals, not just illiterates. They consume content from platforms like YouTube and engage in debates about their beliefs. Yet, for some reason, they cling to the idea that a fundamental truth about our planet is a lie. In this video, we'll delve deeper into the flat Earth theory. What do its proponents believe our planet looks like? What questions do they raise? Do religious texts offer any insights on this? In an era where the internet, airplanes, and spacecraft abound, there are countless ways to prove that the Earth is round. Interestingly, even ancient civilizations had an understanding of this concept without the conveniences of modern technology. As early as 500 BC, the Greek philosopher Pythagoras observed the spherical shapes of the moon and the sun, and speculated that the Earth must also be round. By 350 BC, Aristotle noted that during lunar eclipses, Earth casts a round shadow on the moon. He also observed that when ships disappear over the horizon, their hulls vanish first, indicating the curvature of the Earth. Then, in 200 BC, Eratosthenes conducted a groundbreaking experiment by measuring shadows cast by wooden sticks at different locations, allowing him to estimate the Earth's circumference. His calculations estimated the circumference to be between 37,500 km and 50,000 km, quite close to the actual figure of 40,075 km. By the 1600s, it was widely accepted that the Earth was a sphere, and no one doubted it until the arrival of Samuel Rowbotham in 1865, who wrote Zetetic Astronomy, Earth Not a Globe, a book that became a classic in the flat Earth community. Rowbotham argued that whenever he looked out to sea, the horizon appeared flat. He asserted that if the Earth were truly round, it wouldn't look flat. He also claimed that bodies of water, like lakes and oceans, are always flat at their surfaces, and even the ground appears flat, leading him to conclude that the Earth is flat, not round. He dubbed his method zetetic, believing that only what one could see should be trusted. His theory depicted a flat Earth with the North Pole at its center and towering ice mountains at the edges. If you crossed these mountains, you would fall off the Earth. Some flat earthers even claim these ice mountains are infinite, stretching on forever. So what about the Sun and Moon? They proposed that both celestial bodies move in circular paths above the Earth, casting their light like spotlights on specific areas. Recent models suggest that the Sun and Moon each have diameters of only 50 kilometers and orbit the Earth at a height of 5,500 kilometers. In reality, we know the Sun is about 150 million kilometers away and the Moon is around 400,000 kilometers from Earth. In this flat Earth theory, the paths of the Sun and Moon are illustrated to explain the changing seasons. Mark Sargent, a prominent figure in the flat Earth community today, argues that sunlight is hot while moonlight is cold. His rationale? During the day, if you compare the temperatures indoors and outside, standing in the sun feels warm, while at night, under the moonlight, it feels cooler. Amazing logic. While anyone can come up with such outlandish ideas, the real issue arises when these beliefs are taken as truth without critical thought or verification. In our modern world, we have AI tools like ChatGPT to help clarify such misconceptions. For instance, ask it whether moonlight is cold, and it will quickly provide scientific evidence to explain the truth. Samuel wasn't alone in his time. In the late 1800s, the modern flat Earth movement gained traction with works like 100 Proofs That the Earth is Not a Globe by William Carpenter. From the outset, these individuals began citing religious texts to legitimize their ideas, often misinterpreting scripture. For example, in the Bible, Revelation 7:1 mentions 4 corners of the earth. Instead of interpreting this metaphorically, flat earthers take it literally, believing it suggests a square or rectangular Earth. Take a look at a map from 1893, which depicts the Earth as a square with an angel at each corner. Similarly, Genesis 1:6 refers to a firmament in the midst of waters, which they interpret as a dome separating waters above, the sky, from waters below, the oceans. This interpretation led to the development of the dome theory, where roughly 70% of flat earthers believe the Earth is covered by a dome. This kind of misinterpretation also extends to the Quran. For instance, chapter 71, verse 19 mentions that Allah made the Earth like a carpet spread out. Some interpret this to mean the Earth is completely flat. However, wise scholars argue that spread out means expansive and accessible. Since the 9th and 10th centuries, most Muslim and Christian scholars have recognized the Earth's spherical shape. However, flat earthers still pop up now and then. In 2015, a Saudi Arabian cleric claimed the Earth is stationary and that NASA never landed on the moon. You might notice a pattern among flat earthers. Many who buy into this conspiracy theory also believe in other conspiracy theories. The same survey from earlier shows that the same percentage of people believe vaccines contain microchips, and that NASA and other space agencies are fraudulent. Some even deny the existence of gravity or dinosaurs. They point to the United Nations logo, arguing that it depicts a flat Earth because of its map. Yet, how can anyone explain that any logo drawn on paper is inherently two-dimensional? If you try to reason with them, you'll get bizarre answers, like questioning why Antarctica isn't shown on the logo, claiming it's part of a conspiracy that proves the flat Earth theory. Now, let's dive into why some people find it easy to believe in such outlandish theories. There are 4 main reasons. First is convenience. When an explanation is simple and easy to understand, people are more likely to accept it as true. For example, consider global warming. You could present detailed data and charts showing rising CO2 levels and global temperatures. But someone could easily dismiss all that and point out how cold it is today, using that as proof global warming isn't real. Which explanation would you find more credible? Hopefully, many would side with the data-driven explanation. Yet, many people prefer the simpler, more convenient explanation. This convenience also means they don't have to change their behavior or confront any uncomfortable truths. If global warming isn't real, they don't need to worry or take action. The second reason is intuition. People tend to believe what their instincts tell them, assuming their gut feelings are correct. In the case of flat Earth, many argue that they don't need to think about gravity or math. They simply believe what they can see, the flat ground beneath their feet. However, the Earth is so vast that the curvature is not easily discernible to the naked eye. Share your thoughts and ideas in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more interesting content, and click the bell to get updates on our latest videos.